Sea of Galilee. It is not actually a sea. It is a lake with the fresh water as we have tasted it. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe to our channel, Chanlod Etalam. Before we go to the Sea of Galilee, Pastor Aris, our tour guide, first oriented us about the happenings in the Sea of Galilee. We sat near the St. Peter's Church to listen to Pastor's explanation. At the shore of the lake, you can see how large is the lake and surrounded by the mountains. There is a restaurant near the lake and we had an opportunity to eat their special tilapia, in which there is a story behind their acclaimed fish, which we will tell you later. Sea of Galilee is located between the Golan Heights and the land of Galilee. The violent storm struck in the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus was sleeping, and it is stated at Matthew chapter 4, verse 37 to 41. Soon, a violent windstorm came up, and the waves were breaking over the boat, so that it was being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on the cushion. So they woke him and said, "Teacher, don't you care that we are perishing?" Then Jesus got up and rebuked the wind and the sea. "Silence," he commanded. "Be still." And the wind died down, and it was perfectly calm. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked. "Do you still have no faith?" Overwhelmed with fear, they asked one another, "Who is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Another miracle was happened during the time of Jesus, and continually overwhelming the people, how the lake was struck by the storm, where in fact it is shallow, and it is the lowest freshwater lake on the earth and surrounded with mountains. The story of Jesus walking on water, as most pictures, is from the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and John. At the end of the evening, the disciples boarded a ship to cross to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, without Jesus, who went up the mountain to pray alone. John alone specifies they were headed toward Capernaum. During the journey on the sea, the disciples were distressed by the wind and waves, but saw Jesus walking towards them on the sea. John's Gospel specifies that they were 5 or 6 kilometers away from their departure point. The disciples were startled to see Jesus, but he told them not to be afraid. Matthew's account adds that Peter asked Jesus if it is you to tell him or command him to come to Jesus on the water or waters. According to the pulpit commentary, the word "if" is not intended to imply any doubt on Peter's part. After Peter came down out of the ship and walked on the water, he became afraid of the storm and began to sink. He called out to Jesus for help. Jesus caught him and reproved him for his lack of faith and led him back to the ship. Whereupon, the storm stopped. Tilapia or St. Peter fish. The story of was Peter returns home. Jesus tells him to go fishing. Go to the sea and cast a hook. Take the first fish that comes up. And when you open its mouth, you will find a coin. Take that and give it to them for you and me. Matthew chapter 17, verse 24 to 27. A peculiarity of this species of tilapia is that it is a mouth brooder. The female holds her eggs in her mouth until they hatch. Then, for a time, the immature fries swim back into her mouth when danger threatens. Mount Tabor of Israel, the exact place where God made the covenant to Abraham and to his descendants, and from then Israel became the promised land. The promise was first made to Abraham, written in the book of Genesis chapter 15, verse 18. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham and said, "To your descendants I give this land from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the Kenites and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites and the Hittites, and the Perizzites and the Rephaims, and the Amorites and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites and the Jebusites." And confirmed to the son of Abraham, Isaac, and said in the book of Genesis, chapter 26, verse 3 to 6. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm to the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees, and my instructions. So Isaac stayed in Gerar. Then the Lord said to Jacob, the son of Isaac, in the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 13. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying." Israel. This is the exact place where God made a covenant that He will give the land to Abraham and to his descendant, and that's why Israel is called Promised Land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Stated in the books of Exodus, chapter 3 to 8, Numbers 14, verse 8, Deuteronomy 31, verse 20, and Ezekiel 20, verse 15. The richness of the agricultural land, even in the midst of the desert, they are primarily producing quality milk and honey from dates, olive oil, gold, silver, and diamonds, and many others. From the point of view of Mount Kabir, you can see the Joseph's tomb using the telescope in the area. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell button. YouTube channel chanlod etalam.